Greetings everyone and welcome back to Joe's Metal Mancave vlog. Today we're going to do another collection update, although this time around we're going to specifically theme it around Finnish Black Metal. The past several months I have bought a lot of Finnish Black Metal, and the fact that I am now reading The Devil's Cradle, a book that is solely dedicated to the history of Finnish Black Metal, it should be pretty much anticipated that more Finnish Black Metal will be coming up on these collection updates and this channel. Alright, we're going to kick things off with a relatively unknown, but I think very important band to the Finnish black metal scene. The band in question is Vornat. So what we have here is a compilation from 2016, which basically gathers together everything Vornat released throughout their career. The first demo on this compilation comes from 1994, and it's called The Flame of Satan. When The Flame of Satan was released, the band was still a four-piece band, and they were playing a very raw, very Norwegian-influenced style of black metal. Very much in the early Burzum and Dark Throne, Under a Funeral Moon, and Transylvania Hunger style, basically. There's some very cool riffs in this demo. There is some... Yeah, I mean, there's some very cool riffs, but, like, just, I don't know, something about it is, like, the atmosphere isn't exactly there, and just the feel of, like, all that awesome early Norwegian black metal, it's just not there. But what makes this demo kind of interesting right from the get-go here is that I'm pretty sure Vornat was the first Finnish black metal band to kind of, like, emulate, like, basically the Norwegian sound, because... Stop and consider this for a moment. Like, yeah, bands like Barathrum, Arcot, and metalness, and Behexen all formed in Finland, you know, a couple of years before Vornat, but they all had their very distinctive styles that were more influenced by, like, death metal and grindcore, and then more, like, I think, like, in the case of Behexen and Arcot, they were heavily influenced by, like, the Brazilian scene, like, stuff like Sarcophagal or stuff like that, you know? The first couple of bands from Finnish black metal scene were very unique and very different, but for sure I think Vornat was like the first one to really just be like, okay, let's try and do something like Dark Throne or Burzum. The vocals as well are very Varga-Kernes-esque, you know, that sort of high-pitched, screeching, you know, heavily reverb kind of vocal style. Yeah. So the Flame of Satan demo, it's not great, but it's decent. So then we move on to the second demo, which I'm not even going to try to pronounce because it doesn't look like it's a Finnish word, whatever it is, but the next demo came in 1996, and this is when the band starts to get a little more interesting. The production is slightly cleaner, but it's still raw black metal. There's some more melodic characteristics, and they start to introduce some keyboards too. The keyboards are not overbearing or anything like that. They're used creatively and cleverly, and it's a cool little demo. The band at this point was also reduced down to just 2 members from the 4-person lineup before, and yeah, it's cool. I like it. It definitely shows a more mature and refined version of the band. And I don't really know what happened to the band after that, but it seems like the band kind of broke up sometime after that, because one of the members, he went on to his own solo project, and yeah, so it wasn't until 2002 that I guess, like, well, basically there was a split record with a band from Germany called Hellfuck, and one of the songs from what I guess is the unreleased Promo 2002 was featured in that, and but the Promo 2002, at least according to Metal Archives, was never actually released. So you get the unreleased 2002 demo, and this, you know, officially marked the end of Vornat. But it's unfortunate because this is by far the most interesting period for the band. The music's, again, you know, a bit more cleaner, a bit more melodic, just really great uses of keyboards, and man, what a shame that this band just did not release a full-length album, because this demo is, or promo, whatever you want to call it, is just fantastic stuff, and yeah. When all is said and done, I wouldn't by any means say that, like, this compilation is mandatory, but if you want to see the roots of the Finnish black metal scene, well, then here you go, because this is another band that was there at the beginning, and surely it was very important. And I should probably point out too that the first song on the Flame of Satan demo which is called Korpe, was later covered by Satanic War Master on their Fimble Winter album. So pretty interesting stuff there, and obviously it was influence for Werewolf, and I'm sure several other Finnish black metal bands that came after them. So there's the front cover, and we have Breathing Fire, fuck yeah man. Back cover, track listing, another cool picture of the band. Lots of really cool pictures of the band. They yeah, man, this is a cool little compilation. It's got lots of old photos, all the lyrics, including like some original handwritten ones. Look at that. I can't help but laugh at that photo. Like, what happened there? Did the tree fall on the guy or something? Oh, I don't know. Awesome, though. More lyrics. Breathing Fire. That's another cool. That's a really cool picture right there. I like that one too. It's a fucking super atmospheric picture. That's just awesome. Some handwritten lyrics. And there's a look at the original demo covers, and then on the back cover, another picture of the band. And I could be mistaken, but I'm pretty sure at some point in time I saw like a meme saying something or another with that picture. But correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know. But anyway, that's Vornat. Highly, I shouldn't say highly recommended. It's highly recommended if you want to see the roots of the Finnish black metal scene. It's as just a sort of a passing affair. If you just, it's not going to really blow you away. But yeah, again, if you want to see the roots of Finnish black metal, definitely check out Vornat and this compilation released by Breath of Pestilence. All right, we're continuing on with a project known as Diaboli and their album Mesmerized by Darkness. Diaboli has a history that dates back all the way to 1992 when it was originally formed as a 4-piece band. And they were known as Sigillum Diaboli. During the first couple of years of their existence, they released 2 demos, and during that period, I think they were more of a death metal influenced black metal band, which was the case with a lot of early Finnish black metal bands. I don't really know what kind of following they had, but the original band fell apart pretty quickly, and when this album was released, it had become just a solo project of Petri Ilves-Pekka. And since then, it's been his main solo project. It's a bit hard to describe this stuff, but it's sort of a brutal, raw black metal. It partially sounds like it's influenced by, I guess, very early Bathory. The first 2 to 3 albums, to be specific. There are some very cool riffs in this stuff, and there is it's just a really dark mood in all these riffs, man. That's what I think I really like about this album. The music is a bit repetitive, and there's very little variation, and I'm fairly certain a drum machine is also used here. But it just sounds really fucking dark, man. And it's good that the album's only about 34 or 35 minutes long, so if it was any longer than that, it would just be a bit too much, but this is some pretty cool stuff, and I gotta be honest with you, I had never heard of this band until, I don't know, maybe 6 months ago or something. The Arcane Archivist zine had posted about this band on their Instagram, and I was like, okay, this is very interesting, but perhaps the most interesting thing that happened to this band is in the late 90s, Petri actually went to jail for 4 or 5 years for attacking his neighbor with an axe. Yeah. I guess there was some sort of argument, and it came to the point where Petri hit him with a fucking axe. I mean, it's amazing he didn't kill him and go to jail for 20 years, but when he was in jail, he had sort of a rebirth of interest in the Finnish government and just the way things were, and when he came back, he had a lot of very sketchy political ideas. He had come to the conclusion that Jews were to blame for everything that was wrong in Finland, and he was an extreme racist, hated all non-whites, and from there on, the band continued very much in that NSBM style. I haven't heard those albums, and obviously some people can be very triggered by that, but I don't know. I'm interested nevertheless. But this album is really cool. Like I said, simplistic stuff, but it has that early kind of Bathory feel to it, but just far darker and just evil sounding. I mean, I don't know what possessed him to make such a dark album, but this is actually really cool stuff. I believe what I have here is a re-release, because the original cover had some sort of kind of shitty goat on the cover. I don't know. So this is obviously a much simpler affair here. Just the logo and the album title. There's the back cover. And then, I think this is kind of ironic, but there's a picture of Petrie stalking around in the woods with an axe in his hand. And then, weirdly, there's nothing in the booklet. So no lyrics or anything, but, yeah. This is cool stuff, man. Yeah, I definitely want to hear more from this project, regardless of his extreme racial views, but I like this a lot. It's not an everyday record. There's nothing really catchy or overly melodic about this, but if you're just in a very malevolent, just pissed off mood, then it's a record worth grabbing. So, Diaboli, Mesmerized by Darkness. Alright, we're moving on, and the next band is, I think, a pretty well-known band, at least amongst black metal listeners. The band in question is Barathrum. So I've known Barathrum for well over 20 years at this point. Way back in like maybe 2000, 2001, I picked up Legions of Perkele, which I think by most people's standards will say this is a Finnish black metal classic. It's an album that I absolutely love. It's one of my favorite black metal albums, and what I love about this album is that it's distinctively different from really any other black metal band. There's this sort of, I don't know, it's sort of like, it's sort of black and roll, but not in like a fucking lame way like Satyricon or whatever other kind of bullshit that's, you know, come about in like the past 20 years that's, you know, typically labeled as black and roll, but it's sort of black metal run through like a rock and roll filter. It's slower, but still it's totally black metal. It's a great fucking album. And shortly after I got this album, I also had an album called The Cult, which I think was released in 2000, but as I recall, I borrowed that to some girl I was sort of dating back then, and then she broke up with me, and I never saw the album again, which is really unfortunate, because I remember it being a pretty good album. So then it wasn't until, I guess probably about 10 years ago when I went to Finland, and then I got this album, which shouldn't have popped out of that, that's a little alarming, but Eno Aspera, 2003 years, what the fuck happened to my CD? Jesus Christ, it's all, oh my god, that's embarrassing. Oh, that sucks. Anyway, I got that CD about 10 years ago, and I always said I was a Barathrum fan, but just honestly I hadn't really heard that much of their stuff, and again, I think it's because the old albums were out of print. So, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 months ago I was buying some stuff from a guy in Discogs, and he happened to have a reissue of the third Barathrum album, which is known as Infernal. So, Infernal represents a bit of a different sound compared to most black metal bands, and different compared to like the later Barathrum sound. It's a bit more doomy sounding, sort of a doom black metal sound, but not like in a like funeral doom kind of sound. It just has this sort of doom pacing with sort of more of a black metal characters kind of intermingled, but it's unique. And they also use 2 bass guitars in the album, which, you know, obviously bass guitar is usually not a big deal for black metal, but here it is, and there's 2 bass guitars. It just creates a really thick, heavy sound. I really like this album, but the thing that sort of nags at me a little bit, the songs are just a little too long, a little too repetitive, but nevertheless, interesting seeing some earlier Barathrum, and I believe the rest of their early catalog has been recently reissued, so I definitely gotta get my hands on it, because I really want to hear it. And I mean, Barathrum are legends of the Finnish black metal scene, and they've been, I think, very influential to other bands from Finland to create black metal, and yeah, man, the only thing I can really say is it's a little too repetitive. I wish there was just a little more variation, or just the songs were a little bit shorter, because it kind of, some of the songs just get to the point where it's like, alright, you know, and it isn't really like atmospheric black metal or anything like that, you know, there's nothing, I mean, this isn't like a CD I would listen to like on a winter day or something like that as an example, but yeah, Barathrum is not one of those bands that's different and it's unique, and I don't think there's really any other band out there that sounds like Barathrum other than Barathrum. So there's the front cover, and again, this is a reissue, this one being reissued by Primitive Reaction, whereas the original one was released by the German label Nazgul's Eatery Productions. Some artwork in the tray card there. There's the booklet here. lyrics, no band photos or anything like this, but for this recording, Barathrum was just a 3-piece band, but yeah, they've had as much as I think like some albums have like 5 or 6 members, so it just varies by the album. And like again, there's been a lot of members in and out, a lot of session members, and yeah, the main driving force has always been Dimana Sova, whose real name is Yanni Sova. But definitely a band, yeah, I just need to get my shit together and finally get more of their albums. It's cool stuff. It's just, it's not catchy or anything like that. It's one of those albums you kind of put on, you can almost put it on as background music, but it's still enjoyable, if that makes sense. I don't know, but yeah, it's Barathrum. Alright, moving on to our 4th album, and I hope you guys don't get sick of me saying this, but here's another band I have known for a really long time. As far as I can recall, I first heard about this band back in maybe 2000, 2001 on an old heavy metal forum and / online radio called Stagnant Metal Radio. Someone had either posted about this band or actually played them on the radio, and I heard it and I absolutely loved it, and had every intention of buying it back then. But back in that time period, I was buying so many albums, it was just so easy to overlook something, and it's a real shame because if I had bought this album 20 years ago, I'm quite sure I would still absolutely adore it. So the band in question here is Throes of Dawn and their debut album, Behexen. So Throes of Dawn, like I said, is a band I've known about for a long time, and I was reminded of this album a few months ago, or maybe it was even more than that, when I believe it was Brain Smasher on Instagram had posted a picture of it, and I was like, holy shit, fuck yeah, dude. It was, you know, it was just like, whoa, I remember that, and I went to YouTube, listened to the first 2 songs, and I was like, I have to have a copy of this album. This is awesome, man. So the best way to describe Throes of Dawn is basically progressive black metal, or as they prefer, progressive dark metal, since they don't sing about Satan and all that kind of stuff. As far as comparisons, this could easily be comparable to early Arcturus, or Borknagar, or their fellow countrymen like Thy Serpent or Autumn Verses. What I really like about this album is that it has just absolutely beautiful guitar melodies. It's well produced. There's some clean vocal parts. It's a really great album. I mean, the song "The Night Belongs to Us" in particular is just amazing song. Great stuff here, man. The album's never been reissued. This is an original Woodcut Records pressing from, I believe, 1997, and I had to pay about $25 for this, but no fucking regrets, man. This is a really good album. The only thing that sort of throws me off is the kind of hokey album cover, which just has, well, I don't know if it's a real wolf, but it looks like a stuffed wolf, so I don't know, but that's kind of, I think, kind of throws me off. But right from the get-go, it's pretty obvious this isn't a typical black metal album here, but yeah, this is progressive black metal, and, you know, very comparable to all those bands I already mentioned, and just really great stuff. If you like melodic progressive black metal, you're gonna love this album, and I do love this album. So there's the front cover again with that fun-looking wolf, possibly stuff, possibly real. I don't know, it's Finland, so I guess it could have been real, right? There's the tray card. Nice snowy landscape there. In case you're wondering, Behexen does mean the Lord of Frost. Although when I put it over to Google Translate said it meant Mr. Frost, but I'm gonna probably have to trust what the booklet says, which is Lord of Frost. Anyway, there's the fucking booklet, lyrics or landscape shots in there. Yeah, this is definitely an album that deserves a reissue. I'm sure there's got to be other people out there that want to hear this album, and I mean, like again, this is just fantastic, and I absolutely need to hunt down the couple albums that follow this album, and because I believe they're all kind of in that progressive dark metal style, but according to Leaf's Metal Archives later on, they went in more of a progressive gothic metal style, which I don't know if I believe that description, because Metal Archives isn't necessarily good at labeling some bands. Like, for example, they call mid-period Running Christ gothic music, which isn't at all. I never understood any of that kind of shit. But yeah, I'm definitely very curious to hear the rest of this band's discography, because goddamn, man, Behexen, fantastic album, man. Definitely look it up. Alright, one more tonight and I'm gonna let you guys go. This is a band I first got my hands on back in about 2008, and The album in question from back then was My Soul for His Glory. Yes, the legendary Finnish band known as Behexen. They've been around since, 1995. They haven't been the most prolific band, but basically everything they've released has been just exceptional. It was back in 2011 when I traveled to Helsinki, Finland, and I went to the Cult Shop that I got my hands on their second album, By the Blessing of Satan, which is, by most accounts, probably their best album. A funny story to kind of go with this album is when we were trying to get back home, and I stress the trying to get back home, we landed in Chicago and the TSA decided to search my bags. Going so far as to remove the plastic from the CDs that I had bought there. And one of the TSA officers actually said, "Hey Kaplan, look at this. By the blessing of Satan." Literally, that's how it happened. I'm just sitting there as these guys are going through my dirty clothes and all my CDs and other shit I bought from Finland because, obviously I have long hair and I'm trouble on a plane. I know it's random, but whatever. Anyway, By the Blessing of Satan fucking rules. It's a great album. But for years I wanted to get my hands on their first album, Ritual Sanctinum, which is their debut album, originally released back in the early 2000s. For many years this was out of print because it was originally released in something like only 500 copies, but just kind of recently Debamur Morte Productions re-released it in this digipack, probably remastered as well. And it was great to finally hear this album. The early Behexen sound is not as occulty and, I guess, atmospheric as, the third album and onwards. They kind of went for a much more brutal black metal style in their early days, although just chock full of just awesome riffs, just totally headbangable kind of stuff. Man, I love By the Blessing of Satan, but this is really good. Gargantum's guitars just again, awesome riffs, man. Just killer guitarist. There's no wild souls or anything. I just riff after riff, awesome. Horns' drumming is just great. Not technical per se, but just awesome. Just really, really holds it all together great. And then Torog's vocals just vicious, just hellish shrieks, and just god damn, man. Say one thing for Behexen, say that they're a band that really walks the walk and talks the talk and all that kind of shit, man. Just deeply invested occult individuals, and it's fascinating to me that just how deep it goes and how serious it is for them. Whereas for a lot of their bands that sing about Satan or Antichrist, it was just a joke, but these guys really take it seriously. I think that's really fucking admirable and cool, even though I don't understand religion of any sort. But yeah, man, this is great. If you've never heard this, definitely change that. Again, much more brutal black metal, so if you're more familiar with their later period stuff, it's not as many ambient parts or slower or melodic parts, but definitely really great stuff. My understanding is the band doesn't necessarily like this album, though, because the mix wasn't exactly what they envisioned for the album, so I think they've sort of had some sort of resentment towards it, but I don't know. I'm assuming this version I have here is perhaps remixed and remastered. I don't know, but I haven't heard the original version, so I can't say. But anyway, there's the front cover. It's kind of, the front cover is pretty cool, a little hokey, but they've always sort of had these sort of ritualistic, band folders and all that kind of stuff. So it comes in a digipack. Here's the booklet, and we have outside of the digibook there. Yeah. Lyrics. More lyrics, band photos. Awesome, dude. Brutal as fuck. Yeah. Cool. Fuck yeah, man. So that's the digipack reissue. Again, if you've never heard Behexen, this is obviously their first album, so probably the best place to start is it's now more widely available, but certainly, fast, brutal black metal, but great riffs, great drumming, and just hellish shrieks, man. Just awesome stuff. So, yeah, man, that'll about do it for this episode of Joe's Metal Mancave. Thank you so much, as always, for joining me here. 5 really great Finnish black metal bands, well worth checking out, and if you have heard them, as always, I'd be very curious to hear your opinions in the comments, or if you have any recommendations from Finnish black metal bands that I perhaps have not mentioned yet on the show, definitely let me know, because I Very, very interested in just getting as many Finnish black metal albums as possible. And as I said earlier, I'm reading The Devil's Cradle, and I know it's going to cost me a lot of money to get all these albums, but I have to hear them. It's just awesome album after awesome album. I can't believe some stuff hasn't been reissued and stuff like that. So, yeah. Thanks as always, guys, for subscribing and watching, and I will see you next time on Joe's Metal Mancave Vlog.